This video is about the essential skill firefighters have to have called patrolling. If you don't know what patrolling is, especially if you want to be a firefighter someday, pay attention to this video. So what's going on at this point is the flames are out, the fire line is secure, but the job isn't over. Okay, well, what you're seeing now is the aftermath of a significant wildfire, and the real challenge will be ensuring that this fire stays dead. No restarts. So that's where you come in, where we come in. We're on hotspot patrol then, a crucial and it's often overlooked aspect of wildland firefighting. It's called the mop-up sometimes here in BC, and sometimes people tend to look at it as lesser work, but it's not. It's some of the most important work there is to make sure that a fire stays dead. It's a blend of instinct, experience, relentless attention to detail as well. So forget your Hollywood heroics. This is the gritty, essential work that protects communities and ecosystems from reignition. There it is.
This is bad news. My God. Fall out right now. Anything could happen. Get on!
Wow. I'll watch the video later. They try mopping this. Carey Weather Dude YouTube channel. Hit like, share, and subscribe, and keep coming on by. Different kinds of content all the time on the channel. But you can always look at this playlist and find more playlists that are here. Playlists at the end of at the end of the video here that'll come on the screen, where you can see more and more examples of us fighting fire. But also on Thursday at noon Pacific time, my full movie Cutoff Creek is going to come out. We did 3 tours at the Cutoff Creek Fire in 2021, and a crazy range of everything happened. Like, we saw almost everything there at one point or another in those 6 weeks. So enjoy that. That's my birthday gift to everybody. On Thursday, we can all watch that together at noon. Okay, so patrol, it's not about running around with fancy gadgets, I guess. It's about getting down to basics, using your senses and experience to read the landscape. So it's important to move as a unit. That's the first thing. You get into a line, you call patrol, everyone moves together, you pay attention to the person depends on the situation, but we'll say in this example, to your left, you stick with that person, the person on your right sticks with you, and everyone moves together as one line. Take your time, touching the ground, smelling, feeling. So you move as a line. You cover the ground systematically. It's an organic process in this way. It's driven by the conditions we find and the knowledge we've gained through years in the line. It's not something that you may necessarily get good at right away. A lot of people don't. Not everyone's a Tony Quash, okay? That's a guy who, like, on day 1 or 2 was like, he knew where it was. So hats off to you, Tony Quash. Always love working with you because you're an animal, and I mean that in the sense that you use your senses like an animal, and you know where the fire is. You find it no matter where it's hiding. So we don't always have time to document every hot spot, but we keep a mental tally usually, or sometimes GPS or whatever, to kind of show what we've done for the work for the day. But generally, it's often painstaking work where you gotta do the hard work now. It's not sexy. The first thing you gotta do is observe. So we look for subtle signs, like, of course, wisps of smoke is the easy one. The way the light reflects off the ash, the conditions of the ash. You get good at knowing what kind of areas to look for hot spots, which kind of thick duff layers will be hiding it. You look at the patterns of the burn. It takes some time, okay? And it's not something I can just explain to you easily in a short YouTube video. What that means, it means quieting your mind and being very present and really taking your time. You got to read the landscape to understand what's normal there and what is not normal. And experience will teach you where hot spots are likely to hide. Of course, obvious candidates are root systems, under logs, deep piles of debris, especially out in a logging block. Every time there's a pile of brush that's been piled off, check in there. Deep down, it's like every time it's in there hiding. We've come across that so many times over the years. But often along the edge where things are rooty or deep, and especially in that red rot duff, it might look like there's nothing there. You might touch the edge and it's fine, and somehow it's crawled in there and it keeps crawling on through, and it's amazing what it will do in that red rot. So you gotta have that sense. That takes some time, and you gotta listen to the people around you when they're trying to teach you, and you're out there. And that's when your training will also kick in, but it's where gut instincts will have to come into play. And some of those gut instincts you have to learn; they're not natural to you. So that's the sensory part. Constantly sniff the air, looking for that distinctive sweet smell of smoldering wood or ash. Sometimes we can tell exactly what kind of wood it is burning by the smell. Especially when it's into willow and alder and stuff. You come into an area and you can smell it. I'm like, it's in that willow and alder somewhere. It's that sweet smell. I know it. It's not in the pine. It's not, so you get to know what that red rot smell smells like. Of course, I can't give you that smell over the internet here, okay? Insects are a clue that we look for as well. Certain species are attracted to warm, smoldering ground, and their presence can lead us right to a hidden hot spot. Sometimes just the presence of a lot of insects, like, there's been smoky for a while, you're working through there for a number of days, and there's not much for bugs. Suddenly one day there's a lot of bugs, and that can be a sign that you've turned the corner on the fire right there too. But then especially look for areas where the bugs are gathering. Okay, you'll find often there's hot spots somewhere down there, around there. They feel the warmth. They feel the warmth of the smoldering ground, and their presence will lead you right to a hidden hot spot. So we got to use your hands. You got to carefully feel for the warmth around the edge. You got to take your time. It's not about being macho. It's about being thorough. The ground can hold heat for days, even weeks, even over the course of a winter. Our job is to find it before it finds its way back to life. Even over the winter at the Donnie Creek Fire, it was a great example. It woke up the next year and kept on burning in 2024 as well. That fire lived for over a year. Okay, let's talk about what happens when you do find a hot spot. You got to dig, first of all. You got to expose the source of the heat. And you break it up, extinguish it thoroughly. Sometimes you throw it back into a black area that's already really thoroughly burnt, and you just let it burn over there, if you don't have any water with you. Sometimes you got water with you, good. That's great. Sometimes you just got to hand tool it and make do with what you got. Sometimes even just a little bit of wetness you can use to make mud, and you use the mud to put a tiny little hot spot. It's a little tiny thing you find, an ember that's hiding in there that could come back to life when fire behavior conditions, the weather is there. It does become back-breaking work. You got to dig through layers of ash and charred material right to the mineral soil, right to the rock sometimes. You got to use your hand tools, your shovels, the Pulaskis. You got to get down to the heart of the problem. Don't be afraid to hand tool. It's all about the hand tools. You're not just carrying them around to look cool. And, they're not just decorations. That's your weapon of war, And I've worked so many fires without any water. It's just hand tool, hand tool, hand tool. And if you want to have pride as a firefighter and say, I'm good at this, it's the hand tooling that's going to make you realize that I am good, Of course, being a chainsaw artist and all that can be handy as well, though. Water and dirt are the primary tools that you got for cooling things down, okay? And we're not putting out flames here. We're just ensuring complete extinguishment, making sure every little fucking thing stays dead. So patrol, it's a team effort. You got to work as a line. You got to cover the ground systematically. You have to communicate, share information. Someone calls hotspot, everyone stops. How many people do you need? 3. Okay. Point out potential hazards too. Okay, you're going to stop and work that. Danger tree assessor, as soon as you're going to stop and work that area, now you're at a work site. You're not just on patrol, and now you've increased the danger from any tree that might be falling from that might fall on you because its roots are burnt out or whatnot, or broken tops. Danger. So you got to make sure your danger tree assessor comes over there, has a look, and says, and make sure, maybe as you're working, make sure that everything's fine. If you're in a quickly hurry, but no, it really, you gotta be thorough. You gotta be thorough, everybody. Be thorough about your danger trees. Okay, so still, you gotta cover every inch of the ground if you can. You leave nothing to chance. Not just like, sometimes I've heard people be like, I smell something, do you? And they walk around for a while. Oh, it must be nothing. And they walk away. I'm like, it's not nothing. It's not nothing. Something is burning here underground. You gotta find it. Okay. You got to keep a map of the area, mental map of the area, so at least you can report back to your incident commander, unless you have a red shirt with you. If you're a Type 3 crew or Type 2 crew, you're probably attached to a BC wildfire member or another Type 1 asset from out of country possibly. They'll keep the mental map sometimes for you, but still, it's important to document things as much as you can if you're the crew leader. If it depends on the fire and the incident commander, of course, it's just a matter of knowing the job and what the expectation is and doing it right and doing it thorough and making sure that when you go there and you tell him it's done, we patrolled it, there's nothing there. And sometimes it's like we patrol an area, we find one hot spot, we patrol it again. If we find one again, we patrol it again until we find none. All right. So we don't just put the fire out and move on. It's not just like spray water, it's out. Okay, next one. And that's what people don't seem to understand, because it takes that thorough work to keep it dead. We check and we recheck, ensuring the area is cool and safe. We're looking for any lingering heat, any sign that the fire might still be alive. It's about preventing reignition, protecting the land, ensuring the safety of everyone who comes after us as well, right? Don't make, if you leave a fire to blow up and take a run, now you got to put people back in line in danger to deal with it. So this is about responsibility when it's your time to do it. Put away the gadgets, stop talking, and do the job right. Okay, even if no one's watching, you're a 5-man crew. I love to make sure our 5-person crew is patrolling, and it looks like we're working a line and not just, sometimes we do what's called scatter patrol, and everyone just kind of does their own thing a little bit and keeps sort of in cohesion. It's like we're checking an area maybe that we have no idea what's going on around here, and let's just sort of scatter around and see what's up. But no, like generally, if we're walking a cut block, we try to still keep a 5-person. And then some red shirt or someone will drive by and say, hey, look at that. Those guys are patrolling nicely. They have pride in it. Those are like the basics of being a good wildland firefighter. Work in line. Your soldiers, okay? Move like it. So it's a vital thing, man. It's often unseen. It's the least glamorous part of wildfire suppression. Right? It's not what the news media is coming out to film. It's about diligence. It's attention to detail. It's a respect for the power of fire. Yeah, for those of you who consider a career in wildland firefighting, remember this. The fire doesn't end when the flames go out. The real work often begins after that. In the silent watch, the meticulous patrol, the relentless pursuit of every hidden ember. This is where you can make a real difference, even if you're at the very bottom of the chain. You're a lowly Type 3 crew. This is where you can make a difference. And if they can rely on you to do this stuff good, they don't have to think about you. That helps them have a bigger, be able to do more. Just think of it that way. It's like be as reliable as possible on these basic things. So thanks for joining me anyways on the patrol here. Remember, the fire doesn't stop when the flames go out. That's the work. That's when it starts. Stay safe, stay vigilant, respect fire, and hit like, share, and subscribe too, will you? Okay, bye now, everyone. Thanks.